Welcome to Simplify to Scale, a show dedicated to helping you scale a high impact and high profit business that you love without all of the complexity and chaos that can keep you trapped in the day-to-day. I'm your host, Krista Grasso, and with decades of scaling experience, I know what actually works and what's just hype. So if you are done with all of the one-size-fits-all scaling advice and all of the overnight success promises, and instead you want proven practical strategies that will help you simplify operations, elevate your leadership, amplify profits, and scale sustainably, let's dive in and get started. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. This week, we are going to be talking about really digging into and understanding your triggers to get underneath the surface of some of the things that either may be holding you back or that may be driving some of the decisions and behaviors in your business that you're not always aware of. So this weekend, I got together with a friend and we went to this beautiful cacao place. And while we were there, these people started up a conversation with us and we ended up chatting for quite a while. And both of them, one was an active business owner, fairly well known, somebody that you might be familiar with. And the other person was a friend who was getting ready to start a business. And one of them seemed so incredibly genuine. He seemed just, kind of bright eyed and bushy tailed and excited and on a mission, and really seemed like he genuinely wanted to help people live better lives, be more successful, all of the things that I very deeply resonate with, because a lot of the same beliefs that I have. The other person was really interesting. He ended up triggering me quite a bit. And I thought about it and really reflected on it afterwards. And I could pick out and do an entire episode of all the things that he's doing that I don't believe in, that don't align with my values. And there's quite a bit that he's doing that kind of falls into more shady internet marketing, bro marketing, kind of convincing someone there's something wrong with them and that he can then be the savior to come in and save them. And he's not doing it from that place of genuinely trying to help and being kind of mission driven, impact driven. He more, I truly believe, is kind of healing one of his own internal wounds, and he's reacting by creating something and building a business around it. And so, topic for another day, that in and of itself doesn't really matter. But what really fascinated me was the way that I reacted and the way that I kept thinking about the person that triggered me for a couple days afterwards. And that's not common for me. I meet a ton of people. I talk to so many people. And so sometimes it gives me a good inspiration, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm often thinking about the next thing. And there was something that kept replaying in my mind a little bit. And I knew there was something more than the business he's starting. I meet people who are kind of douchey bro guys all the time. I meet people who have terrible business ideas and fairly terrible businesses all the time. I mean, when you're in this business for this long, you have conversations with people that run such a wide kind of spectrum of types of businesses and who you connect with and who you didn't. So I really tried to think about what was it about this person that triggered me so much? And why was it that I kept thinking about what it was that he said? And it left me with a very unsettled feeling. And my friend who I was with, she, of course, kind of like forgot all about it, went on her day, which is normally what I would do. But when I shared that I think there's something underneath the surface here that I really want to dig into, she had given me a really beautiful reflection back. And I thought about it more and realized he's being dishonest. He's being very dishonest and he's presenting something to the market as something different than it is. And so I really started to strip that back and started to think about that. And I thought, where am I not being fully honest with myself? Where on the surface am I saying one thing or trying to convince myself of one thing, but underneath it all, I actually know something different to be true? And that was really the heart of the unsettling feeling that I had after meeting with him. And I didn't know that at first. It took me a lot of thread pulling, a lot of conversation, my friend reflecting some really interesting things back to me, and really trying to think through what it was, why it just like had this open tab in my brain that I couldn't fully close. And I realized It's where am I not being fully truthful with myself? Where is there something that I'm subconsciously or maybe even borderline consciously aware of, but I'm trying to convince myself of something different? And it was such a powerful question. It was such a powerful realization. And it makes sense as I'm in this place of very deep introspection, as I'm in this place of a very massive identity evolution, maybe more so than any that I've ever experienced so far in my life. And I've experienced many of them, right? It makes sense that all of a sudden I'm not at the surface level anymore. I'm going much deeper and I'm really trying to understand what are the things that I'm not seeing? What are the things I'm glossing over? What are the things that might seem okay on the surface, but aren't? And if I don't pay attention to them, then I'm not going to actually end up doing what I really want to do. I'm not going to do what's truly going to make me feel happy and fulfilled and fully step into my rich, fulfilled life in this next chapter. And so, with all of that in mind, it got me thinking. How often do we do this all the time? And what are those things that trigger you for reasons that they're not fully logical? Like on the surface, yeah, there's plenty of things about this guy. If you met him, you'd understand. He was a fairly triggering guy in general, right? And so there's plenty of things like that. Cool, but why did it stick with me? Why did it not just leave my head the second I walked out of that shop like it normally would? And so where do you have those things that for whatever reason trigger you in a way that's a little bit different than how it normally would? What are those things that stick with you? And how can you take some time to dig beneath the surface and try to understand what it's telling you? Because usually, like if I had met this guy, same conversation, same everything, at a point where I wasn't in such deep introspection, where I'm not in the middle of this identity evolution and trying to really break old patterns, where I did kind of lie to myself about things, not consciously, but I would convince myself things were okay. I convinced myself that my marriage was fine. I convinced myself that I didn't want some of the things I really wanted, or that it made sense to keep some of the things that I didn't want to keep, right? And so if I had met this person at another time, I don't think I would have thought twice about it. But because I kept thinking about it, I recognize there's something here that's super relative to what I'm experiencing right now. So, what I invite you to do is if there is anything that triggers you, if there's a conversation you keep replaying, if there's something that you heard, whether it's from someone you met, somebody you know, something you saw online, there's something that just keeps like it won't close. The tab just keeps on staying open in your brain and you keep revisiting it. Give yourself the space to reflect on why. And don't just look at the surface level things, really go beneath the surface and start to dig deeper into what is the message? What is it trying to tell you? What's the story beneath the story? And how does it relate to what you are growing through right now? Because I guarantee you it does. It always does when we're willing to slow down long enough and take the time to actually reflect on it. And this was actually quite powerful. I'm super happy that I had that conversation with them because all of a sudden I'm thinking through all of these different things and the shifts that I'm making and realizing, you know what? I was hanging on to that one thing because I tried to convince myself it was what I wanted. It wasn't. I'm doing that for my team. I'm hanging on to this one thing. It's not what I really want. I'm doing it for this person. And I'm starting to recognize these different patterns in these different things where I'm doing things for other people and then convincing myself it's what I want when it's not actually what I want. And so this was hugely impactful for me. So I wanted to share this with you and again invite you to pay attention to those moments and then give yourself the space to think through them. I'd love to hear what this brings up for you. As always, head over to Substack. You'll find the notes down below in the show notes. You'll find the link down below in show notes. And I do read and respond to every single reply. So go ahead, let me know what comes up for you. I'm super curious. And I will see you again next week. If you are a visionary founder ready to get yourself out of the day-to-day operations of your business and scale in a much more simple, sustainable way, I have just the thing. Register to join me for my Scale Simpler workshop at scalesimpler.com. In it, I break down the hidden barriers that keep you trapped in the day-to-day of your business and what to do to finally extract yourself once and for all so things do not keep coming back onto your plate. And if you're someone who partners with founders as their right-hand advisor, consultant, or fractional, I invite you to explore our scaling certification and licensing programs at strategicopsinstitute.com.